Hello, my lovely people. My name is Kate. I'm a hypnotherapist, and my YouTube channel is all about how your mind works in different situations, all about fears, different types of fears, real and unreal, all about anxiety, panic attack, depression, trauma, and just this simplified stuff that you need to know about how your mind works. I'm not covering any scientific difficult terms. It is just not my field, not my niche. I'm just talking about to the simple language so that people can understand and can take first steps. They can start to question themselves, right? So, my lovely people, what do we do and what happens in our mind when we are afraid of people? So, talking about social anxiety, right? So, being shy is okay. First of all, being a little bit shy is okay. So social anxiety is normal, right? We do because we are growing in the community, right? In these standards, expectations, right? We sometimes can get really shy and self-conscious when we are in a new environment, we are with people that we don't know, right? So it's okay. However, we still kind of keep going. We still show up, we still go out there, and we still engage with people. We meet them, and once we become more comfortable, we start to really, our self-confidence, rises, and we feel more, relaxed and at peace when we are with other people. The same happens with like when we are in the crowds, right? We are okay because we feel like we are safe. However, social anxiety can have real severe symptoms and forms, right? So one of them is self-isolation, right? When a person they cannot come out anywhere. So they order online, they order groceries online, or they ask someone to do that for them. They are, they don't even go into the family dinners. They don't go to the friends gatherings, to the parties. Even when they are with one person, they can feel anxious already. So they are self-isolating, and this is a very severe form of social anxiety and needs to be addressed because inside the person really wants, they just don't know what to do and how to overcome this type of anxiety, this type of fear, right? Another another form of social anxiety is when people actually do have to, they force themselves to go out, but they have panic attacks. They feel panicky, they feel super anxious, right? They start to hyperventilate, overthink. They can even have seizures in a severe forms. And this also has to be addressed. Sometimes it goes away with exposure therapy, right? When people kind of little by little expose themselves to crowds, to gatherings, to people, to community. But in many cases, it doesn't, because the subconscious mind is so strong. And if we don't resolve it, it will keep bothering us until we self-isolate. Really important to know. So what happens on a physical level with the person who has social anxiety? They have real physical symptom, which means it's real pain. That's why people go with anxiety to emergency rooms, right? Because they just feel like this is something serious. Social anxiety is just like health anxiety. You get all of these symptoms: dizziness, shaking, heart race, palpitations, trembling, stomach pain, right? Fogginess, nauseous. So all of these things, headaches. Sometimes it can start with a headache, right? So all of these symptoms are real, right? So you can even notice if a person has a social anxiety, but they still show up, still go out there, you can notice that they don't look you in your eyes. like people avoid looking in your eyes. People are afraid of criticism, they don't know, they don't feel safe. It's not about you, it's about the person who has anxiety, right? So you can notice if people are like, they are looking into everywhere but not in your eyes, then it means they have anxiety, social anxiety. Sometimes they feel like they start to say incoherent words, right? Like babbling and either talking too fast or having these long pauses, right? So also can mean that they are very conscious of what they say, and because they are so focused on what they're gonna say, they feel it's even harder for them, to speak. They also overthink in people's reactions and people's interactions. So usually when you are talking to a person who has social anxiety, they sometimes become, in their mind, they are thinking whether they like me. Did I say right thing? Will I? Maybe I should have said that differently, right? So all of these intrusive, overthinking, catastrophizing thoughts, very present in the person with the social anxiety. For the mental, symptoms, we have these negative thoughts, right? Where we are like, everything is in the worst scenario. Because we are in this fight or flight mode, of course, our mind it doesn't know if it's a real or imaginary threat. It just accepts everything as it is. That's why people are in a fight or flight and they perceive the worst scenario because they have to be ready to protect themselves. With social anxiety, right? It is just a symptom. There are so many other fears that come up in the social anxiety, right? Usually it's a fear of criticism, fear of judgment, right? Also, it's the fear of getting sick. And when you are in the crowds, especially, like, it can be connected. Social anxiety can be the symptom of health anxiety, right? So it's this snowball of symptoms and fears. Fear of attention goes way into the childhood. When the attention brought a child to be in trouble, right, was punished for drawing attention, then the child can form the belief, or the teenager, right, can form the belief, oh, I shouldn't draw attention, right? So this fear of getting attention can be real, right? Maybe there is some traumatic experience that happened in the crowded place. So people develop social anxiety when they were witnessing or were survivors of terrorist attacks, right? Usually these people have trauma, PTSD, complex PTSD, and they really don't want to go out, and for them it's really hard. They go through like therapy, and support and help to overcome or at least manage those symptoms, right? So it doesn't have to be like in the childhood. You can develop it during your lifetime, right? When there is something traumatic, something sudden and isolated happened, something unexpected happened in the crowded place, then you can develop social anxiety for sure. Usually, any social anxiety, right, is most of it at least, right, is developed due to the childhood trauma, right? A lot of criticism, a lot of punishment, a lot of feeling unsafe and not secure. When our parents tell us like, "Oh, it's so dangerous, don't go there," right? Or being around people like you're looking and reflecting on yourself, right? Everything that your parent figures do, and then you just act the same because as a child, you don't know that you have a choice. You don't know that. Like no one explains to you, oh, you know what? If you want to, you can act like this or you can act like this. It's very rarely that parents give many choices to a child. That's why we grow up, and me included as well, that we believe that there is no choice. And then we grow up and we live like that, believing that there is no choice. But there is always a choice. When we grow up, when we go into life as adults, right, there is always a choice. When we are children, yeah, sometimes we don't have a choice because we need to fit in, so we adapt those strategies, behaviors, right, in order to fit in, to survive, right? Sometimes our mind wants to keep us safe, right? I've been telling that to a lot of, my dog is just trying to get some mess. Sometimes we adopt this strategy and behavior that our mind wants to keep us safe, so it will keep us away from people, from crowds, from interacting with others just to survive. It doesn't understand that you are safe, right? You need to tell your mind. The best way is to integrate that experience, that traumatic experience, work, resolve it, and then you'll be able to kind of move forward, right? It doesn't mean that you have to forget. You cannot forget what happened to you, but you definitely can change the meaning and, integrate it and understand that it was in the past. So what is the consequences of the social anxiety? Because sometimes people think like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be by myself. Self-isolation for some short period of time is amazing. Some people do detox. Some people go into the quiet places where they can be by themselves. They find answers. Like, it's incredible what being by yourself can do for you. But in the long run, if you are isolated, right, it can lead to depression. There are some people who can definitely do that, right? The monks, right, or other people who are on this kind of journey, right, spiritual journey, that they feel they need to be alone. But it's rare cases, right? If we take the whole population, we mostly want to be in the society. So depression can become a result of the isolation. Also, other physical symptoms like autoimmune disease. When we reject our true self, our desires, our immune system rejects ourselves as well. So don't get your body confused, so this is very important. Digestion problem, right? So when you take your body, we accept food, digest it, and let it go, right? So the same happens with isolation and social anxiety. We cannot accept it even. Sometimes we accept it, but we cannot digest it. And sometimes we cannot let go of the problem, right? So digestion system will suffer in the long run with the social anxiety. Inability to enjoy life, right? So the biggest consequence is that depression, everything, all of it will lead to inability to enjoy life, to live the life that you want, desire, right? So the best way with social anxiety, it is seeking support, right? Understanding why you are afraid of other people, why you are afraid to communicate openly, public speaking, all of that, right? Why are you afraid to come out of your house? What's going on with your feeling of safety? Because the feeling of safety, if you're especially like here in Canada, you are safe, like relatively the most safest country, the most safe country in the world, right? The safest. But yeah, so understanding where it comes from, right? Understanding the reason why you have it, resolving the unfinished business, all the mental struggles that you have, they will lead to more social anxiety if you have it, right? So work on yourself. Exposure therapy is amazing, right? When you first expose yourself to like a small group of people, then you're going to the grocery stores, but it's not very crowded, right? You're going for a walk first in a very like quiet places, but then kind of gradually expose yourself to more and more people. That can help as well, right? For your feeling of safety. If you don't want to seek help, for example, from the psychology and mind, body professionals. So also you can do inner work, meditate for the feeling, like meditation for feeling safe, for example, right? Seeking yourself, like, doing the inner work, it all really helps. There is no magic pill. You can take pills, medication for as much as it, but there is no magic pill for this. There is a commitment and inner work. So there's also so many modalities that can help you in doing that. You can do it faster, you can do it longer, you can do it, more emotionally, less emotionally, but there are so many options available. You always have a choice. So use that choice. I wish you all the best. Stay healthy physically and mentally. Cherish your body and mind, and I wish you all the best.